Hey, what's up everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so I'm keeping it local, man. It's a nice day. I would like to go far, but Laker game starts at 4 o'clock and it's already like 1. So I really don't have the time to kind of do my LA, Hollywood traveling routine. And I do have some things I need to pick up from Target, so that's exactly where I'm headed, man. So, yeah, it's nice out here. It's a nice day out here, though. I can't complain any. If anything, I could say that feels good to be out, man. I've been out in the house for a couple of days now. Yesterday I had the Bible study to tend to. Got up a little later than usual, so it's like I didn't have a lot of time to do a whole lot. Plus it was storming outside, so it was like, nah, I'm gonna wait on that. I'm not gonna do anything that day. Saturday, I don't remember what I was thinking. I think I stayed in because it was a gloomy day. Meditated a lot. I don't think I did too much on my day Saturday at all. And of course Friday I went out and did everything that my routine would be. But I would have got out yesterday if it wasn't so gloomy. Honestly, if it wasn't raining so hard. But yeah, man, just kind of been playing it quiet, enjoying myself in that way. And just paying attention to my Laker thing. Of course, I left 2 videos up there today for you guys. If you like that type of content, there's definitely plenty there for you. And it's just good to have a change of the weather, man. This city has needed rain very much after the fires, and it's finally coming. So yeah, it was raining hard yesterday, man. I woke up and it looked like I was in Green Bay or something like that, or Seattle or something. But it rained like it needed to, and now we got a little sunshine. Skies are very pretty and all of that good stuff. So yeah, man, it's a good day to just be out. But the freaking Lakers, man, I'm so sick of them in these early game schedules. They got an early 4 o'clock game today. You got a 4:30 game tomorrow. You got like a 4:30 game on Thursday or something like this. Like, my God, man. And these games start at 7:30. You can really enjoy yourself as it pertains to my lifestyle. But because LA is spread out the way that it is, and I don't have a vehicle, but I'm stuck on my side of town when these guys play at this hour if I want to watch the game and do all the things I do with my channel. So it ain't convenient. I don't like it at all. But I knew this portion of the schedule was coming. Anytime they go to the Eastern Conference, the game's always catered to make sure that Eastern Conference people are able to see it at reasonable hours for them. And so as a result, we get the early games, and so I guess that's what it's going to have to be. But yeah, man, what's been going on, man? A lot of meditation, a lot of praying. Had a bad stomach last night, but I feel good right now. Ate the wrong thing. I had bought some fried crab, something like that, and I think it probably had some not so fresh oil or something. I don't know, but my stomach reacted very poorly to it last night. But that has since subsided. I'm good now, and so we just move along. What else? I don't know, man. I've been kind of distant from a lot of different current affair conversations. It's turning inward instead of looking at my phone. I've been trying to wean away from my phone a little bit more than I normally would, just because I felt like meditating would probably give me more answers than I get from the world. Sometimes you turn to the world for entertainment or for current affairs, and what you end up walking away with is more reasons to pray. And so just skip all that and go straight to the praying. It's kind of how I've been approaching these last couple of days. But one thing that I know is that yesterday the Lord was giving me a lot of concepts to consider in regards to making content for this channel. When you're dealing with insecurities within yourself, and I was just meditating on this yesterday, things that you don't like about yourself, and you start to tell yourself that the person that you're with, if you're in a relationship or something like that, for which I'm not, but you start telling yourself that the person you're with, maybe they have a certain type of person that they like. For example, maybe if you're a lady, your guy likes women who have a certain feature that you don't have. And you start to tell yourself that you need to have that feature in order to keep your person, your man, or whatever. Or that you need to make changes to yourself in order to get that person. But, I was looking at things in my own life, and I'm like, I don't know if everybody looks at life like I do, but it's like, I wouldn't need the woman that I'm with to look like somebody else or to add features to themselves to be somebody else. I don't require that. When I look at certain women, and maybe a woman who would deal with me may feel insecure if she sees the type of women that I often look at. She's like, oh, maybe I don't look like this or whatever. Maybe I don't have these features. That might be, in a nutshell, be a thing. But when I look at what it is that I like within the woman that I like, I'm not just looking at features on the body or a bank account or a specific thing, their quality. It's the entire package of who she is that ultimately makes me want that person. And if she were to add things to her, those things now become things that are not naturally a part of who she is. That's not who she is. If she sees something in my phone that a woman has a bigger chest or whatever, now all of a sudden she needs to go get fake chest. I don't want her to have that other woman's chest. I want her to have her own chest. You know what I mean? So I speak for myself when I say that. But I think in securing yourself when you look in the mirror and don't see something that you otherwise think you should see, and then you look at your significant other and they like a certain, feature on somebody else, and maybe you start thinking that you're not good enough for that person. Maybe you start psyching yourself into thinking you're not good enough for anybody, or all these different types of insecurities that may be possible when you let your mind run with the I'm not good enough conversation. And the reality is, no matter what it is that you add to yourself or subtract from yourself, there's always going to be somebody who preferred you the way you were. Or there's always going to be somebody who looks better than you, no matter how great you make yourself look. Somebody wealthier than you, no matter how much money you have. Somebody, you know what I mean? It's always somebody who has a bit more. And maybe them having more may be less for the person that you attract. The thing that came to me, as God said, if you're dealing with the right people, then your specific features and what it is that makes you you are ultimately going to be exactly who it is you're dealing with. Now, once you start dealing with people you have no business dealing with, then you start finding yourself in those issues, having those issues where you are now in a space where you may not be good enough. And it's not because you're not good enough. It's because you're now looking to be with somebody that's actually not meant for you. You know what I mean? And that's when it starts getting tricky. Because a lot of people are with people they have no business being with. And those people, just the same, are with them having no business being with them. So as a result, they need these people who they with to be like someone else, because they actually should be with someone else. So she got to have bigger this. She got to have nicer that. He got to have bigger this. He got to have nicer that. And it becomes a situation where it's like, if the person you were with was the person you're supposed to be with, that doesn't become an issue. What you are is what they prefer. What you have is what they need. It's that you find yourself with the wrong person that you end up needing to make up for the difference of what it is that ultimately they want you to be versus what it is you are. Because you are not enough, because you're not who they need. You're not who they should be with. You're not their one. And that's what ends up being a thing in a lot of society, in our society today. Now, granted, there are people in this world that cannot relate to this, because it's not about one person. It's polygamy. It's about having 17 wives and stuff like that. And for those individuals, I don't know nothing about that. I can't speak to what they would relate to when it comes to these type of conversations. But as it pertains to the society of ours that has one woman and one man, or one man and one man, or whatever the case may be, if you're only for one person, then the reality is, if the person you with is the person you're supposed to be with, then all of your flaws are going to be great. All of their flaws are going to be good enough. And y'all going to be where y'all need to be. You don't have to add nothing to subtract nothing. And that you add something may be what turns them away from you, because they need you to be exactly the way you are. not some enhanced quote unquote version of what otherwise you think other people would deem most attractive or most appropriate or what have you. And so that's something I was meditating on yesterday a lot. And the concept came to me to make content about it. To say, you know, if you're with the right person, you're always going to be enough. Or they're going to always prefer you to be exactly who you are. Even if what it is that you are is what society says is not what's right for anybody. If you're with the right somebody, you're going to be right for them. And so you may not need to make certain changes that the wrong person is going to force you to want to make, or make you feel like you're not right for them because you don't have certain traits that they ultimately go for. You're not right for them because they're not the right person, not because you don't have the traits. And so that's what I would tell, like, before you go to making some changes in yourself that fit somebody else's intentions, you need to think about what it is we talk about here. Somebody else's desires, rather, and meet somebody else's criteria for what it is they want. You better make sure that person is a person that you're meant to be with. And chances are, if they ask you to make them changes, they're not, because the person that you're meant to be with is not going to need you to make any of those changes. They're not going to force you to make them changes. They're not going to require those changes to be in place in order for them to be happy. What you need to do is tell them to find a person that has those traits. You need this? Go find it in somebody else, and leave me to find somebody that's looking for me. Because I guarantee you, the person who's looking for me is probably telling somebody else, or telling themselves that somebody that they're with doesn't have what it is that they ultimately need, because that for which they need is here with me. So that's what it is, man. That's how I look at it. Being insecure about yourself as it pertains to what you don't have versus somebody you're trying to make happy in a relationship or a partnership, it's not the right way to go. You can try to force things, but chances are eventually you're just going to find yourself in a space where you need something else, or that you end up getting cheated on or end up cheating on them because you're not with the right person. You know, people get mad at each other for cheating on one another, and I respect that loyalty is important, but to be loyal to the wrong person is misery in a lot of cases. Pure and utter misery. Yeah, you got somebody, but it ain't your somebody. And so you're going to sit there unhappy with them, waking up to them every morning, and then you end up meeting the person you're actually supposed to be with, and now you're supposed to stay away from that person. You know what I'm saying? Like, you meet somebody you're supposed that's actually meant for you in every way, shape, and form, but it's just the wrong time because you stuck with the wrong person. Like, I think a good person that stands on their square is going to just simply lead the person they with for the person they're supposed to be with. You know, that's what it really comes down to. But a lot of people ain't strong like that. There may be other factors keeping y'all together that may be more important than your happiness in your mind, or whatever the case may be. Sometimes it keeps people in positions to try to make things work for the kids, even though they know they're with the wrong person. And in being with the wrong person, they end up meeting the right person, and now all of a sudden they're wrong for being around them, being with them, or whatever the case. I just think that if we start these relationships off with a foundation of faith in a higher power, for which a lot of people don't believe, so they can't do this. But if you have that foundation in prayer before you start the courting process, when you meet somebody you like, you start asking the Lord to help you understand what their role should be in your life, so that when you do get with them, that has already been established. Praying prayers that allow you to hold on when it's time to hold on, to let go when it's time to let go, to stand on your truth, to live with certain things in the relationship, to be able to live with certain things that maybe they have that otherwise you would prefer them be without, or vice versa. Them type of prayers should probably be prayed as soon as you meet somebody you think could be serious enough for you to be with, before you even start down that path. Have that foundation of faith within yourself that you're going to be happy with or without them, that you can live without them if need be. All them prayers we can normalize praying those prayers anytime you meet somebody you think is serious enough to deal with. That way, that foundation and that starting point can be blessed. I don't know that you pray with the person that you meet. You know what I mean? That may not be what you do. I don't know. Not everybody's wired for that. And maybe if they're not, then maybe they're not wired for you. But the point is, you're probably not going to be praying them prayers with a stranger that you just think is a good-looking person. But you do pray with them prayers within yourself when you meet that good-looking person. And make sure that you don't get caught up in some things that are no good for you, or some soul ties that mean you harm. You know? Or that you're not following them down a path that ain't right for you. All of these type of things need to be, I think, in place for people who are believers and people who are concerned about being hurt, or people concerned about hurting others. People with just different concerns that don't, maybe I don't have in my mind right now. That they're getting with the right people, or chasing the right people, or going down the right path. Or since so many people like to live double lives and cheat and lie and steal, and, you know what I mean, and all different types of stuff. Sometimes the wants that we have in regards to human beings ain't the right wants to have, as we've talked about in other conversations, to be a better wants. And chasing the wrong people for the wrong reasons, getting up with the wrong results. End up with a beautiful demon attached to your end. Like, that type of thing is something that needs to be really considered. And so that's what I'm telling everybody, man. Just, if you're following me, know that that's the type of thing that I want to do. Say prayers that allow for the Lord to create the foundation for either being able to hold on to somebody when I need to hold on to her, let somebody go when I need to let go of them, have the hard conversations, be secure within myself, especially if they're not able to secure me, however that goes. You know what I mean? If they're not good at sacrificing certain things that allow for me to feel better about myself or whatever. If you got any of those type of things going on, you probably should be talking to God before you talk to those people in any serious capacity. That way he can quickly derail you from what is not meant for you, or quickly align you with what is, or take his time in doing so, whatever the timing would be. But the point is putting you on the right path so that you're not allowing yourself to be caught up in unhappiness with people that are not meant for you, that are not going to be satisfied with your flaws, people you're not going to be able to deal with through all types of weather. You know what I mean? But a lot of times people just want, do they look a certain way? Do they have a certain amount? Do they provide me a certain lifestyle? Do I like being around them? Okay, let's get married. It's like, all right, then your marriage don't work. And they so confused. It's like if you didn't do any of the real stuff. Everything was so surface level. And a lot of times the relationships in this era are just so surface. People's unions are just so incredibly basic. Does he have enough money? No? Okay, I'm out. Like, that type of stuff. I mean, if that's how you roll, you're not going to find happiness 9 out of 10 times. Not in a relationship. Somebody can drop that bag of money at your feet. You don't need that person. You just only want them because they provide a lifestyle and a certain sense of security that you ultimately feel you don't have in your faith. You don't need none of that stuff. You need to get strong enough to believe you don't need any of that stuff, so that you can live without that stuff in the event you don't have it. This is what we were talking about in the same vein in a different conversation very recently. I can't stand to be alone. Then you need to be praying prayers that allow for you to be able to stand being alone, instead of being with the wrong person so that you can be with somebody. Instead of dragging in someone else into circumstances where you know you ain't ready to sacrifice for their betterment. That selfishness just leaves God unhappy with you, and you end up with further unhappiness because of that. It's like, it doesn't really satisfy the circumstance. If anything, it just has you doing the devil's dance, wasting your time in a life that could end at any moment. You want to check in with the higher power. If you believe in him, which a lot of people believe they do, you believe in a higher power, you need to be checking in with him regularly. Make sure that what you're doing is what it is he wants you doing. Make sure what you're doing is wired properly for your lifestyle. Make sure what you're doing is ultimately meant for you, instead of just meant for whatever you think your happiness is, when a lot of people are still learning who they are and what they can live with, haven't learned key valuable lessons that would allow for them to make certain decisions that make sense for the lifestyle that they're ultimately going to be living upon learning those lessons. It's like certain values that you don't even know you need, but you picking a lifestyle partner. You know, a life partner that provides a lifestyle, but they don't have the values that ultimately you're going to value tomorrow. So as you grow, you start to learn they're the wrong person. Now you got kids with that person, and you know, you tied to them for life. It's like these are the type of things that God can literally derail you from wasting your time with the wrong person, starting a family with the wrong person, just by checking in with them and meditating a bit more instead of focusing on what the world tells you need. You need this, you need that. If you don't have that, you're not cool. If you don't have this, you're not cool. It's like the world will always send you down a path the devil wants you on every single time, with its cultures, with its standards, with its, you know, what it tells people is cool. It will always have you on the devil's timing, playing by the devil's rules, losing every bit of the way. So that's what I want people to hear from me. Hear that when I say that. It's okay to deviate, turn down the noise as it pertains to this world and what the standards are of it for you. You must have this, you must have that. If you don't have this, you're no good. There are plenty of people out there who want you not to have that. As to which you be very good. And you avoiding all of them because you're chasing what the world is telling you to chase. You're chasing what society wants you to have, which is misery and the ability to be an endless pit of poured interest into it. You know, it's just consumerism in this country we're in, times we're in. It's about consumerism. How much did you provide this? Did you have that? Did they have this? If they don't have that, then like, where's the faith come in? If they don't have that, then what? Then God's going to take care of it, right? And if we answer more of our questions with those type of things, then we can avoid so many problems. So many problems. Oh, they don't have this. So I'm going to struggle with them. That's what you believe, and that's what the world would have you to think. But if you check in with God, he'll let you know exactly what's coming. It ain't going to be no struggle. It's going to be you happy. It's going to be you with the right person. It's with you providing yourself a lifestyle that ultimately is best for you as you change and become the person you don't even know you're going to be tomorrow. That's what comes with that person. They don't have the money. Or they may have it tomorrow. But the only thing that they're missing in regards to finding that is you. You're going to have 10 times better lifestyle with the person you're avoiding if you just enter the equation and be who it is that you need to be in their life. Y'all going to be living better than that dude that you trying to get with, or that girl you trying to get with that you think that lifestyle's coming with. But when you don't believe in faith, you don't have no faith, and you just rolling with what you need because the world tells you need that. You be damned if you don't have what the world tells you need, and you're going to be damned for certain when you go after it. So that's what I'm trying to share with the people who follow me. Well, I ain't interested in the world too much, man. The world don't know nothing. They don't even know itself. All it knows is it needs this, it needs that. It don't have no faith. The world has very little faith. It has concerns, fears, paranoias, and standards. And it's going to make sure that it lives up to all of those standards to keep from having to face any of those fears. We got to have money or else we're going to fail. No, not necessarily. Maybe you do, but maybe this is the path of you getting there. I got to have it easy. I got to have a soft life. Okay, well, maybe you do, but that soft life won't come with a hard fall. That person that you're going after, they ain't get that money the right way, so they ain't going to spend the rest of their life in jail. You're going to be alone raising their children, and the children are going to be just as trouble as them. But they had their money the first couple of years, though. I guess that's what it's all about, right? It's like, you're chasing the wrong things, man. It ain't going to end well. You're going to be lost, unhappy, and forgotten. And it's to where the path that the Lord wanted you to take would have had you on the opposite end of all of those things. And you would have none of it because you listen to people and cultures that are oftentimes meant to destroy, meant to derail, meant to exploit, tell you that you need to do all these different things that don't have nothing to do with you believing God can make things better just by inserting you into the equation. So that's really what I have to say, man. Meditate a little bit on what it is the Lord wants for you. Not just what you want, but asking him to make you to be of better wants. so that you're not welcoming the wrong thing. And they say, be careful what you wish for. That's what I'm talking about. Sometimes we want the wrong things. We must have. You don't even know what come with that. You want that, but it don't come with nothing good. You want that, but it's attached to a terrible timeline. You want that, but that person ain't no good for you. They ain't even telling the truth about who they are. They have this, yeah, but that's burnt. That's not good. You don't want that. And you're avoiding something that's best for you, that's ultimately going to make you truly happy. That's ultimately going to have you extending your life rather than ending it early. And so these are the type of things that I think if we just have a real deep relationship with God, not attached to cultures or other people's standards and none of that, just you in silence, believing in something greater than yourself and continuing to come back to it as often as you can. If you do that with the intention of finding answers here, He will secure you in that you are good enough. He will secure you in the understanding that you could trust Him so that you don't have to be on top of everything that the world tells you have to be on top of. And you could start shaving off some of those requirements and inserting the things that ultimately He wants you to have as standards in regards to the people that you deal with. Then you can more than likely find what it is that He wants you to have and check off some of them boxes that you think are so damn important as well. So that's pretty much what I have to tell, man. BDF 44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.